What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Sports Bible Podcast. I am Richie here, joined by Rob. The drink of the week is Poland Spring. So, hey, Lindor got a hit. No, but this is a basketball podcast. But Mets got an early game today. Gotta be on two sides of the spectrum for you guys. So you might get a little bit of play-by-play with the basketball talk as well. But it's been a while, Rob. How you been doing?
Like what? Good, man. Like I said, and how I always start this off, it's been a hell of a week for the Celtics. Um,
You've been saying that a
last we
lot
talked was
lately.
before. Last we talked was before Game One, I believe. I think it was that Saturday. Crazy. They lost the first one. They bounced back the second one. Um, Jaylen Brown has a monster performance. The real test was like, all right, they go on the road, first one. Everyone's like, if they take game 3 or 4, everyone knew they had a good chance of winning it, even though they already did. And game 3 and game 5 were the two games that kind of scared everyone. Game 3 was the game where they had the lead in the last minute. They didn't score on the one possession, and then Horford's tip-in was too late. Marcus got fouled on the 3. They didn't call it. The next game, Boston bounces back, ties it at 2, makes it a best of 3. It's the Horford game. I mean, again, thank you for Kemba Walker continuously saying it to you all year. I just can't believe how historic more and more by the day that trade's looking. And playoff career high, too. We hear a lot about playoff Al. The 30 points worst career high. Had the dunk on Giannis. So then going into game 5 this past Wednesday, the heart was ripped right out of me. Everyone knows what happened. The 16-point blown lead in the fourth quarter. They're up 6 with a minute to go. The Bobby Portis offensive rebound. And I actually knew that play was going to happen with how the way the game was going on the glass and without Rob Williams. Then game 6, like I said to you before, Tatum puts on that LeBron play. That's like we saw against the Celtics at TD Garden in 2012 en route to his first championship where he had 45 and 15. Tatum in Milwaukee, 46 and 9. And then, yeah, I've maybe never seen TD Garden that loud this past Sunday. It was like a holiday. Kind of reminded me of those, you probably saw me tweeting this. It reminded me of the '08 vibes where Pierce went against LeBron, and it was obviously before he went to Miami and, a 7-game battle. We didn't see that Tatum Giannis fight a lot, as you know, but we saw that just great coaching both ways. Budenholzer was terrific all series. They missed Middleton, but we still won the game by 29 points or 28, whatever it was. And injuries happen. No one cares at the end of the day. That's what everyone says. And I'm pretty sure when the Celtics won in '08, they faced injuries along the way.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
the way it's happened.
No one's 100% at the end of the season.
Yeah, and we've been saying that about the Raptors. We said it about these past few years, the Lakers with the Suns. Me and you talk about it all the time. And I always tell you how big of a Celtic killer Middleton is. So, I mean, yeah, I still can't believe it. But it felt like it was a dream, especially because I thought they were the heart was ripped right out of me Wednesday night. I thought they were done. Tatum did that, and they played that amazing on the road. Come back home confident, but it's just Giannis has been in a game like that before. Obviously, Barclays Center is not like TD Garden, but he's played in a game 7 like that, and he's a champion, and he's probably the best player in the league today. And it was nerve-wracking, especially the whole first half. It was a defensive battle, chippy fouls, 24/7, and it was just a well-coached dogfight. And Grant Williams, it was 5 years ago to that day that Kelly Olynyk had the game, the Kelly Olynyk game in the Isaiah era. And it was the Grant game. I just had a feeling. I mean, they left him open the whole beginning, and then he just had the green light. And you've seen how well he's been an improved shooter. And
I texted you
it
playoff
was
Grant.
really, and it's just, man, Batman, as they call him, ever since he covered Jokic. I think I might have, not to get off topic, but I think I might have said it to you on a previous pod. Like Stan Van Gundy was saying it, how his defense gets a little hidden with like every one the Celtics have 1 through 7 or whatever it is, and the coach, and obviously Marcus. But it's like this guy. I mean, you saw him against Durant. You saw him put up a fight against Giannis real well in the beginning. Covered Jokic well in the regular season. I think that's why he was like, call me Batman. But like, yeah, and the way Derek White responded too. I
Well,
know you're
we talked
giving me the
about
eye
him.
roll.
No. I was saying we talked about
You're
him with what?
No, I was just gonna say like the look he gave me was funny. I'm just happy, man, and I can't believe like this could be the Pat Riley revenge. I just wrote a big story on it before we talked. Obviously, we'll plug it in, but yeah, me and you were talking about White and like his shot making. He gets great looks. He just doesn't make a lot of threes. He was 0 for 9 or 8 in Game 7 and hit a big one when we started to pour it on when it was the 3-point barrage between Grant and Pritch, and then Jalen got hot. But where White was big was like Game 6. He was started out the series bad. But everyone was like, maybe he doesn't match the physicality because obviously he's never played in a series like this. And then
Oh, he's on the
the latter half.
Spurs. Was he
Yeah, but I
on?
think that was before his time.
Was he on the I'm keeping that in. Was he on the Was he on the Spurs teams with? I think he's too young for those like Tim Duncan
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, that was before his time. I think he came in. Could be wrong. I think it might have been 17.
I'm
but I
not
could be
sure.
wrong.
Yeah.
I know 27, but so yeah, it was. That's why he's a great pickup, just because of the Team USA ties, like I told you, and he's just a smart playmaker and
Yeah.
gets good looks, even though he doesn't knock down a lot, like Van Gundy. And then we're all over him Game 6 because it was just the rebounds, the nifty pass. He makes the right play, and he fits our play style. So it's really been. I just can't believe how amazing they responded. And like we said, it feels like I've been saying that a lot. And, rematch with Miami twice in 3 years. Me and you met during that series, basically, online in class. So
Oh, okay. I was gonna
they're in
say.
the
I think like we met like the Knicks. I'm like Knicks haven't been to a conference final in my lifetime. But
yeah, and like much different team. Like no Kemba, like I was saying to you, to be hunting, and it's just going to be a
just keep saying it. Just
defensive battle, and it's going to be awesome. Like top-notch grit basketball.
Yeah. So that like you went on like your like little run with the Celtics. There was one at bat in the Met game. It was like a 17 pitch at bat. He finally got out. He just grounded out. But what do you call it? Anyway, no, my thing with the Celtics is people talk about Giannis and his playoff experience, but I think just because of how young they are, people kind of underrate the Celtics playoff experience. This is Jason Tatum's 4th conference final, and I saw his 4th in 6 years. Him and Smart. Yeah, Brown. When I say Tatum? Oh, okay.
Tatum's 3rd in what, like 5? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and everyone talks about like the Nets and all these teams, like the Bucks, even though the Bucks did win. So, but 2 out of the last 3 years, Celtics play the Heat in the conference finals. So, doing something right. And last year they lost because Jaylen Brown got hurt. I mean, I don't think they beat the Nets anyway.
Yeah, they don't. Wasn't not the year at all. They had a poor team.
But so speaking of water, you know what was not wet on Sunday?
Antetokounmpo.
Devin Booker's jumper.
That too.
But the Giannis actually played well.
He really did, but there was times where there was shots that he would make. I don't know if it was the crowd. Maybe he was a little rattled. I doubt it. But like the crowd definitely played a factor, but he had to have the fatigue factor. There was so many like layups that were too strong where Horford or Grant defended so well in the paint, and times where Brown would just go right at it. Like, he really showed fatigue, and Budenholzer was very emotional post game, shedding tears, and like he said what I said. Like, no one cares about the health at the end of the day, and it's tough when you're world champions, like we just said. And
and also no, I said a lot of people give credit to Giannis, and I don't want to hear, oh, he should get slandered. He did play well, and he didn't have his Robin, and like and he did force him to go 7. So I mean, I don't slander Giannis because it's so hard to win every year. Like, you're not going to win every year.
And like with the talent in this league now, and like I said, it was a well-coached battle, and that was their biggest question. That was like, can Holiday be that guy offensively? And he was, like, until Sunday.
They just got beat.
Yeah, like, he hit tough shot after tough shot. Wesley Matthews played Tatum so well. Portis hit great shots. Grayson Allen got cold, obviously. But they showed great experience. Connaughton always hit shit. I meant to say big shots against Boston. But yeah, they just played completely bad in the second half, is where the gas just ran out. Between the Giannis shots, between Boston just all around dominating. Like, it was a dream. Like, it felt like just a special time, and just like of course, like an atmosphere that's like, hey, this could really be the year for Banner 18. And it's amazing because like I just said to you before we recorded this, like, we praised the Heat the entire season and how well coached they were, and people thought like Boston, Milwaukee, with how they were playing, could have been a conference final, and like rightfully so.
Well, it was just the seeding that kind of.
And shout out to Udoka for, winning that Memphis game again and just securing the home court. Because, like I said, the home court was going to prevail us. And, yeah, like, we're in Miami tonight, but that's still cool. That's another thing. I don't think I wrote this in the story, but the story was the premise of, like, the rivalry, how it's been back to Pierce and LeBron, Pat Riley and Danny Ainge. And we've seen a lot of playoff memories between Boston and Miami in American
Even before LeBron, like Wade and Shaq.
I mean, Pierce dueled, and like when he had Antoine Walker in them in 07.
Like before, like the big four, like before Rondo, Allen, Garnett, and Pierce.
Something else I mentioned too was like how when the big three was established in Miami, like all the critics and nerds were like, obviously we look back on this and we're like, who started the super team? It's just Danny Ainge as we see now with what we saw Sunday, guys like Pritchard, Brown, Jason, Grant, what's his name? Everyone Danny Ainge drafted. I don't need to get into it, but like we see now, like we see now, that's what it was back then. It was him drafting with the premise of Pierce and Rondo. And then 07, he made the splash for Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, and that was just his trading. And then Pat Riley with his vision and signing those two and getting that team down in Miami. I mean, they didn't win not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, but like they still are one of obviously the best teams of the past 20 years.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, and you brought
said my connection. I don't know why it said my connection was unstable, but I think we're good now.
Now you're good. What's unstable is Chris Paul's jumper. What? We're talking about the super team. If you look at the Final Four, they're like, are the Celtics the closest thing to a super team left? Because like Dallas is Luka and like Brunson's good. Finney-Smith, who he's good. What's his name? Dinwiddie, good. Like Cleaver, those guys, but they're role players, rightfully so. The Golden State. I mean, I don't consider them a super team. I when I think super team, I think of I think of like trading for guys. Like I think of Durant going there. Like although Jordan Poole kind of became that third guy, and then but so maybe I would say the Warriors in the West and the Celtics on the East are like the closest thing to a super team. But even then, they're just like I hate the idea of that you need what do you call it? I'm blanking. Why am I blanking? Oh, you like I hate like oh you can't like need stars. Like you need stars to win. So, but and then the point. What's up?
No, all you.
No, I was gonna say you talked about injuries before, and I just want to make this point before I lose my train of thought. You notice whenever someone plays bad, it comes out after that they had an injury. Like all of a sudden, Chris Paul has a quad injury. Really?
Every sport.
I know, and it's like I respect you more if you come out and say it, like right away, and you play through it, or you don't play through it. Like you just because it feels like an excuse, and not saying and it's not that you're not hurt, but it just feels like you're leaning towards that of why you didn't play well.
Yeah, and yeah, like no one, we didn't hear it during the entire series until Budenholzer sat up at that post-game presser himself. And yeah, you'll see it in like NHL. It'll be like the craziest.
Hey, Rangers.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of them, for example, like not a couple years ago, but like when I was in high school, when they played the Lightning and lost, when they were, cup contenders, it was like, oh, Ryan McDonough played on a broken leg. And it was like,
why?
And then, yeah, but I guess if we were to pick one of the teams, I like the little tease you're giving me with the Celtics, but like,
well, I just feel like they have two bona fide top 25 players.
Yeah, and like
Golden State, I'm not sure. I don't know if Klay's top 25 anymore.
Yeah, we don't know if he is now, even though he's been a lot better. And he
still has his moments.
Yeah, and he's really looked good lately. Like he had Game 6. What do you have? 6, 7 threes. Like he's one of the best Game 6 performers all time.
You see his Instagram story?
Yeah, that's fire.
That was so cool. I didn't get it at first. I'm like, well, why is this a picture of Michael Jackson? But then
I guess I didn't too until I saw the reel.
Yeah, I put it together. So
yeah, I was like,
I guess we can if you want to we can do a little recap of Mavs Suns because
I guess yeah, we could do that. First, to answer your question, I like your tease, but I'll go with Golden State just because like those are 3 Hall of Famers and Poole's a rising star. The Celtics have 2 guys that, like I tweeted late last night, are young Hall of Famers, and like
that's a weird, like that's a weird
label
description. Yeah, I don't know.
At this point, that's just where I'm taking it. Young Hall of Famers that had the potential of a duo like that. Again, Danny Ainge's vision, and yeah, now that was the thing. It was like, can they be a Steph and Clay that can complement each other so well? And that's, what they're doing. And like I say, one looks like Kobe, the other looks like T-Mac. But it's like Al Horford, borderline Hall of Famer as well. Marcus Smart, if he continues to like keep this up and get his number retired, maybe he is. But it's tough with them, those 3, Steve Kerr, Poole, that's such a great championship pedigree that's tough to say that Boston might be the best super team. Although they have been playing like it probably. But
yeah, but like it goes to show you that the league's kind of changing.
Yeah, and like dude, Jason, Luka, like you said, we're about to talk about the Mavs, but Luka, Giannis, amazing. Like those 3 just has the league in great hands. And we talk about Ja. We talk about the wishful thinking with Zion. We'd say is Trey or Devin knocked too much. But yeah, let's talk about the Suns.
Yeah. Well, when it went down 2-0, the Suns looked like unbeatable, and like they kind of, I don't know if they weren't toying with the Mavs, but they just looked like they were playing at a faster pace. Like meaning like they just looked more crisp. They looked ready. Dallas looked a little shambled. And then Luka turned it on, and then they figured something out, but they lost game four. No, game five, because they won two in a row to tie it, then they lost game five. But even in that game, it was a blowout, but it took like a 25-2 run to like win. And I think that, I mean, everyone acts tough when they're up.
Yeah. I mean, you've talked about that before, and it's like, yeah. I mean, well,
There's
me and
no
you have
there's
been,
no explanation for what happened. Like Dallas just they started playing better defense, and I saw something Shaq said. Shaq said he pinned it like Game Seven as just one of those nights for the Suns. And shooting wise, you could say that. But when you're down 25, and the first play out of half, Jalen Brunson's wide open in the corner twice on two straight possessions, and then the next one, I think he missed one, and then they got the offensive rebound. That's unacceptable because that's just lack of hustle.
especially when you have the best coach in the league, one of the most intelligent defenders of all time at the point guard position, and besides Boston, probably the second best defense all year. And it's like
Dallas is three though. Like Dallas is right there too.
they're up there. They're up there. But like, the Suns have been an iconic defense since last season, is like what I meant. But
Yeah.
it's just with that. I mean, what have I've been saying? Like you. I hate to throw you under the bus a bit, but I guess it took you like maybe an extra moment to
Wait,
hop hop on
wait,
the
I'm confused
bandwagon.
here. For
I'm
who? The
talking
Mavs?
about, yeah, and back in March.
I said, well, in my defense, I
You
said
have been
it.
big on that. You have been a little bit, but not as much as me.
Okay, I said that outside of the Suns and Warriors, they were a team that could be a sleeper. And then Memphis went on an 18-2 run to end the year. So don't throw me under the bus. I've been on the bandwagon. I have been driving the bandwagon. You've been driving the bandwagon. I'm a huge Luca fan though, and it's just he's one of those guys that just don't piss that guy off. Like
It's the truth, and
it
that's
sound
something.
yeah, it sounds very like not educated to put it that way, but like he trash talks, and I don't care about that. Like, well, Booker called Brunson soft, and then got thrown into the third row. That was pretty funny. Um, and like I don't mind trash talk, but you got to show up. You can't go 1 for 12. And I think sometimes Booker gets a little I don't want to say shy. That's the wrong word. Selective with his shots. Like you're the scorer on this team. You gotta be aggressive. He gets a little too conservative, and he can drop 60 at any time. Like we've seen him do that. But I just think sometimes he tries too much to be like Chris Paul when that's not his game. Like he's an underrated passer and he's a very good defender compared to where he started. He started, wow, that guy couldn't guard me. But now he's a pretty close to an elite defender, I would say. But he tries too much, I think, to get everyone involved when he's got to get himself involved first. He's not Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul, his job is to get everyone involved, although he couldn't even do that at the end of the series.
Yeah, and you know how this league is and how it's been going, especially this past few months, is like with the recency and the band and just jumping off bandwagons and stuff like that. And
Yeah, the
recency
Grizzlies were the best team in the league for how
Yeah,
long?
and everyone now is like, okay, well, if Aiton walks and if Paul's ready to, he's not going to retire, like you said, but if he gets older, or say in a year or two, if he does
Well,
call
that's not an
it,
if. I don't think he's Benjamin Button.
but it's like maybe Book will be if they don't lay a foundation, free agents still want to come and play with Monty and him. Maybe it's like, and Mikal. Maybe it's like, oh, well, this team could go back to being at the bottom of the barrel around Devin, but people are going to want to play with Devin now, in my opinion. Like, I agree with you.
Yeah,
Maybe he is being too much like Chris, but clearly he's shown with that floor general, it's evolved him so much. Like the defense, underrated playmaker, like you said, he can fill the sheet with the boarding. And like, yeah, I guess like he can be a little too selective at times, but like, I mean, I was bugging out last year when Stephen A. and others were like, "Oh, he's the closest thing to Kobe." Not bugging out, but like number 0 in the green. I mean, he's still a person.
Well, a lot of that I think had to do with I think Booker and Kobe were like not friend. I don't want to say close friends, but they do share a lot of similarities.
Yeah, he trained him too.
Yeah, so I mean they're both kind of similar to Kobe. I mean we talked about before, like Shaq like refused to give a comp, and I'm like I get it. Like no one's as good as Kobe. Like they're both not as good as Kobe. But like we're talking about comparisons here. We're talking about like just the game is similar, you know? And I think but let's not forget the Suns did win what 62 games with it. I don't even know. They won a lot of games. 64, like that's a lot of wins. So but they just I don't know, they lack something. And it's Chris Paul again. I mean, I don't I saw a point today. How is he the point god when you haven't won the championship yet? Like, how can you be considered a winner if you've never won?
And just think how much he's going to climb the ladder on everyone's all. Like, he's already one of the greatest guys at the one.
Yeah, but if he wins one, but is his ceiling reached? Like, is there not the Suns window, but because I think they can retool because they do have guys like Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. Those are the first two guys that came to my head, and obviously Booker. I think Ayton's soft. So losing him might not be the worst thing in the world, but
it's a hit. It's definitely a big hit because
what if they sign Mitchell Robinson? Whoa, hey.
I'll tell you what, me and my friend laughed at this recently.
He's a lot tougher than Ayton.
Yeah, you could say tougher, but
like he can't score. Like, he can't score, but he's a lot meaner underneath.
All right, me and my friend saw Bleacher Report's terrible. I'm sorry, but you know how they can be bad sometimes. Terrible free agent projections.
Oh, I can't with Bleacher Report.
He was going to Golden State.
Ayton?
Robinson.
They're literally a spread offense.
That's what I'm saying. And like, even like they're good with Looney size and
they put Draymond at the 5. Like, he doesn't fit them at all, especially with Wiseman coming back.
Yeah, and we didn't even think about that. Like, that's probably the biggest thing towards Mitchell Robinson's potential signing there. But it's
why would he? Because Wiseman is I mean, he might not start next year to start just because he missed the entire year. It felt like with him that he was coming back every week, and he just never missed. And that's a shame. Like, you don't want to see him get hurt. But Robinson, I want the Knicks to sign him. I understand he can't shoot at all. Like, wow, it's bad. But he's like a really good rebounder. Like the Knicks dominated on the boards a bunch of games because of him.
Yeah, and you could argue the rebound. First of all, Ayton underrated his rebound a little bit, I must say, but they are both terrific. Obviously, like top of the notch when it comes to centers. Like both in the top 5 range, top 6, but it's like that is going to be. I think that will be a miss because like that's been a story. They messed up with that thing. Like that's the first thing you look back.
Well, it took Ayton over Luka.
Well, yeah, but I meant like not giving him the extension in general.
Well, maybe did you see Monty Williams after the game? Because he only played 17 minutes, and I don't think anyone thought anything of it, mainly for the fact that, hey, run. Oh, he's slow. Mets got bases loaded, no outs. But he's so slow. Dom Smith is so slow. But sorry. What was I saying? Oh, he played 17 minutes, I think. 17 or 18. And I didn't think anything of it because they were getting their tits lit on fire, for lack of a better term. And they asked Monty Williams why. Just a reporter question, just making sure no one's hurt, injuries. He just said it's internal. So that he's gone. He ain't coming back. So maybe there was something there that we didn't know about. Like maybe he didn't work hard. It's just speculation, but
his camp wasn't happy. didn't he get in trouble like his rookie season? He either got suspended 25 games for PEDs or weed. I forget what it was, but we know the
Um,
NBA.
if you get suspended for PEDs in the NBA, I
There's
think I've
some
seen
sort of steroid. I think
Hito Turkoglu was like the only guy I think I've heard that got suspended for PEDs. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's that great.
he's
You're,
great. Potential.
hold on. DeAndre Ayton's not great.
He's
He's
really
not great.
good. He's a top.
I'm taking Robert Williams over him.
I really appreciate that, but I don't know if I could say that yet. Defensively, yeah, like defending the 1 through 5, yeah.
Dude,
But like, dude, when he hits the mid range, like he has the potential to be a top 5 or 6 center when he's hitting the mid range and getting those. Like the player we saw last postseason when he was historic, shooting like 70%, averaging over 10 boards, 11 boards. That is a top 5 center, and that's why I took him over Rudy Gobert in my fantasy draft in October. Which was dumb. I agree with that. I agree. That was
Oh,
dumb.
no. I mean, fantasy, Gobert probably gets a lot of points for blocks, but
Yeah, that was a bad move. But I still thought be an all-star maybe, Ayton, but he obviously wasn't.
I've seen so many times, though, he gets the ball underneath, and a 6-foot point guard strips it. Like, dude, you gotta be strong. Like, I just think. Do you hear him barking? By the way,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think he's not like people talk about Karl Anthony Towns not being mean. At least he could shoot. Like Aiden's like not he could shoot like the mid range, but I don't know. I've seen him dunk once and he got a T on it. A technical on it. Like he's trying to do like up and on, not up and on, but he's trying to do like finger rolls on Luka. Like you're a foot taller than him. Just dunk it.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know why. I don't know why
him
him not dunking bothers me. I don't know why.
he still just has that kid factor. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like,
But
and you see it with negotiations and other stuff. But
I've never really been a fan of him, so that's just my take.
Within the next 5 to 4, he'll be an all-star. I would guarantee.
Yeah, Charlotte's a good fit too, I think.
For Rudy too. Rudy, Charlotte.
Yeah. I think what do you call it? So let's talk about the series now. So we'll start with we'll do C's last. I know we said we're gonna do it first, but we're on the top of the West. So let's talk about the team that won. Mavs Warriors. Don't love this matchup for the Mavs. And I think the Suns don't shoot a lot of threes. They're like a more mid-range, a lot of assists, layups, transition. And they got them 64 wins, so it worked. I think they're going to have a hard time stopping the shooters. Like, because instead of Jay Crowder shooting it, who's a hitter, he's a good shooter, but he can be hit or miss, you have Jordan Poole. Instead of Chris Paul, you have Steph Curry. So
yeah, I definitely see your point of view. It's a ladder up from Phoenix, like from all the,
and they've won. Like they know how to win.
Yeah, the lovers of last year's and this year's regular season Suns, like, and what they truly are to their full potential. Not to knock them, but it's like this is definitely a ladder up, and I'll take Warriors in 6. I don't maybe 7. I'd like to see 7, but it's Dallas they will impress us though. I agree with that. Like with Luka's LeBron style of play, since that when I was at KG night we were talking about Nick Wright and Luka, like it's everything he's been saying, like the 08 or 07 LeBron vibes with the way he carries the team and everyone just is in the right spot for him, the way he constructs an entire offense and everything he does. And Kidd is just such a good coach on the defensive end. Well, we didn't expect it coming into this year either, but, they got guys like Bullock, Jalen.
I love Reggie Bullock.
Dorian Finney-Smith. Spencer Dinwiddie, I love more and more by the day. Cleaver, Bertans, like those, they have defenders to throw at you, and like like you said,
No Aquino. You see that stat?
your guy, and like we said, it's not the best shooting backcourt of all time, or this is like the Suns weren't. I meant to say, it's
Yeah.
not like you went against that. So this is obviously a much bigger ladder up with their championship pedigree and experience. What I said with that core four and Kerr, and it's just, or Kerr being the fourth, however you want to say it, between him and Poole. Obviously, I credit Steve Kerr a lot, but Dallas can still impress us with what they do on both ends, and if their shooters can compete with Golden State's. But if their defense can hold up, they could force a seventh game. I already think it's going to be a deep series. Home court's going to be big for Golden State. I would probably agree with that. But, I mean, yeah, I think these two West teams are going to be the teams of the West for a while. And then with Memphis.
You think so?
Yeah.
This is just a random question. Who do you think is better, Jalen Brunson or Jordan Poole?
Brunson, but like I don't think it's far off.
I think it's very close.
That's a good question. Then I'd go like this, but Poole is like this.
I think Poole's got better potential.
Yeah, like he's like this right now, and Jalen's just like
also
every month he'll just take a little leap.
Yeah,
but he was good in the early playoffs, as we saw. Like he was. I don't know if this could be his last series as a Maverick, his last month as a Maverick.
I hope he's on the Knicks.
Yeah, like
really
if I were you, I'd be really rooting for that because he's going to get a $20+ million contract per year. So
probably.
Them or like Detroit's has a lot of interest in him with Cunningham. I know that, but the Knicks are going to be some sort of destination.
Yeah. For that series, I don't love saying because you have the best player in the series, you're going to win it, because we saw that with the Nets and the Celtics, although the best player in the series was on the Celtics, like not like, you know what I'm talking about, like in those 4 games. So
for the I guess for the latter half we could say, but Giannis, what for the most part it was Giannis.
No, I'm talking about the Nets.
Oh, yeah,
because KD overall is better than Tatum, like Hall of Fame, But in that series, Tatum was better.
Yeah,
but in the Bucks series, it was pretty close.
Yeah.
So
Giannis the whole way, and then the latter half Tatum.
Yeah, I think in this series with the Mavs, I think that while I said they might struggle against the 3 with the Warriors, which is huge, I don't know if the Warriors can stop Luka. I don't, because the Mavs have like 5 or 6 just guys that don't really score a lot, but will just lock you down. Like Bullock, Ntilikina, Brunson, he could score, but he's a good defender. So you have a lot of those guys. The Warriors, Gary Payton's hurt. Draymond Green's not guarding Luka Doncic, although he probably could because they're kind of similar in size. Maybe Draymond's a little taller. Steph Curry cannot guard Luka. Did you see that video when the guy called Steph Curry a 2-way player? Yeah. You got to work on that muscle definition, though. You don't got what Steph's got. But I do think this Mavs team, I think Luka's feeling something. Like, I don't know why, but I think they're winning in 7. I just think Steph versus Luka is very close. Right now, I don't know who I would take.
And there's a probably more cell population in the world that would agree with you, and I do as well. Like, I would think that'd be awesome if the Mavs won, and I hope they do make it thrilling every single. I think Boston Miami is going to be thrilling every single game, which we're about to say, but this will be good.
They're 2 completely different series. Like, Mavs Warriors is going to be spread out. I mean, they both play good defense, so underrated defense even. I just think Luka, is going to be the best player in the series. And did you see the stat? He had more points than Booker in the series, like more total points, more assists than Chris Paul, more rebounds than DeAndre Ayton, and more steals than Mikal Bridges. Like, think about that.
Out rostered the Suns like for the whole first half, and like it was just embarrassing. And he just
the points make sense. The points like you can, but the rebounds.
And then like in Phoenix too, for a team against a team that's never and a kid, you know, he is this next LeBron James. We're right about that, but a kid that's never made it out the opening round yet.
Can we finally say he's better than Trae Young, even though we all know it? Can we finally say it? Because he made the conference finals. Oh my god, I hated that argument. Or, oh my gosh,
not even close. But it's like with Boston, or I'm sorry, Dallas. I would love it if they prevailed here. I would love it if Luka just puts on a show, continues to. I just want to see a good series. But I'll tell you this, like we said, it's a ladder up from Phoenix. It'll take some more adjusting. I mean, something that I saw Udoka said before or yesterday, he was like, I think what we need to do a better job of is being prepared. Like Brooklyn, you know, we saw it game one when the Celtics lost to the Bucks. Came out game one and we were playing like it was the soft Nets rather than the real physical, hard-nosed Bucks. And like Ime was like, let's go into Miami, you know, ready for the physical matchup and ready for the war rather than just, you know, being unprepared. But I think if Kidd and Luka and the rest of them can do that and know what's coming, I think this is the perfect coach for Luka to prep for it. So
I just think it's so important how good their defense is.
Yeah, and I would really, especially Golden State's too, but I would really like a Dallas and Boston finals matchup. I mean, if you knew me through high school, like I've been waiting on the Celtics Warriors since the Isaiah and Kyrie era, as you know. And every time they've played since back in 2015, 2016, it's been probably one of the closest, if not the matchups in the NBA, like points per game wise, like differential.
Yeah.
And it's always a thriller. Like you probably saw a bunch of those matchups and just great basketball. I mean, you could see that with Dallas too, and if the Heat make it as well. But
yeah, I think Dallas right now, like the Suns were supposed to demolish them, you know, and they beat them handily in the last game 6 and 7. Like that wasn't even close. And then the Warriors, I think, are more playoff bound than the Suns. Like they've had more experience winning. Like Steph Curry's got 3, Draymond's got 3, Clay's got 3. So they have 3, right? Yeah. So they know how to win.
Yeah.
But is Steve Kerr back?
I don't think he is yet. I didn't mention that. I apologize, but
that might be a problem because they looked completely different without him.
True, but do I think he's the man with Sacramento? I would question it, although it might be a good fit. But Mike Brown has seen a lot. Like he was the Cavs. Talk about the 07 LeBron teams. I don't know what year, but around there, I know he was the coach of Cleveland. Then he was the coach of – I looked this up the other night. He has a big coach. Like if you Google it right now, like a lot of teams.
Cavs, right? You said Cavs, right?
Yeah, he was on the Warriors twice. And then the Lakers, the team that was a big bust with Kobe, Dwight, and Nash, 13, he was fired in the beginning when they started out pitiful. Like he was the man for that. And then like he was a part of that team. And yeah, like a big – like he's shown he's got the coaching resume and he's a great mind for the game.
I just don't think it's to have a coaching change, I guess you would say. Even though he was an assistant, like in the playoffs, it's tough. So, and they look different. Like Memphis was hanging around, and then Game 6 Clay came out, and also Memphis didn't have Morant. So,
yeah, like when they lost by 50, like there was a meme on Twitter that was like, I don't know, Sacramento might want to rethink this coaching offer.
Yeah, like if the Warriors go down 2-0, I don't know if they can come back. Are they the higher seed than the
Yeah.
than the
Yeah.
Golden State, or is Dallas higher?
Yeah.
Wait, what? I said who's higher. You said yes.
I was agreeing, but like I'm kind of overthinking it now.
No, who's the higher seed? It's not,
I'm actually overthinking it. I think it's Golden State.
they were they were three, right?
Warriors, yeah.
Okay.
They do have home.
Ooh, those are two electric environments.
It's funny because I thought they did as soon as we were talking about it before, and then I was like, do they? Like, Dallas isn't three, right? And yeah, I knew
Yeah.
Golden State was. Played Denver first round.
Yeah, so I think, especially if Steve Kerr is missing a game or two, I think Dallas wins the series in seven. I just think no one's stopping Luka right now.
I would like to see it. I just want to see some good basketball in the series as a collective. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be a thrill. This is a good conference final. Really
Yeah,
is.
I'm. It's different, you know. I'm sick of see. I mean, I love LeBron, but I'm happy he's not here right now. Like, it's refreshing to see this young talent. Even Giannis like went seven with Tatum. Booker went seven with Luka, and the better guy won in both series. Wait, I didn't say that. No, Giannis is the best player in the league. I didn't get when Stephen A was like, "Oh, I can't go that far." What do you mean? Like, it's not. No one's gonna call you crazy for saying Giannis is the best player in the league.
It's funny because, like, not funny, but Van Gundy said it himself. Like, when the Bucks were still in it, when we won Friday night and Tatum had the game, um, he was just like, the three teams left in the East, like defensive minded, built around their two-way wings,
Yeah.
toughness and great pieces around. He's like, they're going to pose a scary threat to any like team that makes it in the West.
Then
So
you got the Nets and Sixers who. You see what Skip Bayless said about James Harden?
remind me. I mean, I saw a lot of things.
You know how he used to call Paul George Paul? Like when he called James Harden Jim Harden. I don't know why. I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
They always call him that on the Michael K show, like for a couple years now. They just because they'll have Van Gundy on, they'll be like, I think Jim Harden sounds good.
Yeah. But so we can move on to the East now. The Heat demolished the Sixers. We all saw Embiid come back. They all hoo ha, and then they got crushed 2 games in a row. So
Yeah, I mean, I like that one. But yeah, you could argue like that it would have been better if he was. That's his thing. That's his only thing. That's
he
holding
didn't
him
take a
back.
shot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it's just like he took what as much as Ben or like around the same number, and it's just. I'm saying with Joel, that's the separation of
Oh, he
him
took
and
a shot.
being the best player in the world is like if you could just stay on the court and if you didn't have something that, got you hurt every spring, he'd be
Yeah.
fine. And like always, it's just, yeah, they would have put up a better fight. Maybe would have won the second game in Miami had he was healthy and like, especially the when he was playing, if he was playing 100%. But it's like there's always something. It's let's all blame each other when we get eliminated.
Yeah, like he's saying things like I don't think he meant to call him mid. I think that might have been just his heavy accent. I think he meant to say make. Or maybe, I
What
don't know. I mean, he
when
said something like
Joel
James Harden's mid. I think he meant to say like made.
Well, he was just saying he's not like the same Houston Harden, and he was
Yeah.
just like what the laugh was about that is like when he got there, like he was like, "Oh, this is the most wide open I've ever been. Like this is gonna be scary, this and that."
Yeah,
And now
and
it's like
just down the
honeymoon's
drain.
over. Yeah, honeymoon's over, and like I get it. James probably wasn't healthy himself, but like man,
But that's his
he's
problem.
33.
And he's heavy. He's
It's
heavy for
about
a
him.
basketball. He's heavy for a
It's the
basketball
big,
player. I wish I
yeah.
was in James Harden shape. But
Don't say that.
no, it just his off season like I don't say antics because he's just doing normal people stuff, like going out to parties and stuff. Like that's normal people stuff. But when you're a professional athlete, you got to keep your body in a certain type of shape, and he hasn't been able to do that.
Yeah, and like, yeah, that's just the problem since he like, just fully wanted out of Houston. It's just like he missed his work and like didn't work out, got out of shape,
Yeah,
and
like he
he,
just. I don't think he cares anymore. It doesn't feel like it at least.
yeah, and like he was an MVP candidate at first with the Nets, and like even had like a 10-game stint this year where he averaged a triple double, looking unreal. But the thing is like you're not worth the max anymore. You or Kyrie
No,
Irving, you're not doing your job. And like, I feel bad. Like my one friend that I tell you about, it's a diehard fan. I feel bad. Like it's between Doc, between this season or last season to this season, the pointing fingers game, the Joel injuries. Like he had the knee injury last year, and what was it? Just they were getting rained on with booze the whole first half. Maxey was like playing like the only one that gives a full effort, and the
I
Danny
thought
Green torn ACL.
I thought you were gonna say something else. We can curse on here, right?
Was it? Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say he gives a flying fuck.
yeah, like the only one who gives like a full on fuck.
Oh yeah, get out, ball! Damn it!
What's the score?
It's 2-0. I thought Alonso just homered. Man on third now, 1 out. Damn, I thought you had a home run there. Now I'm upset.
But it's a huge summer for them between the. Is James going to opt into his 47? Like, worry about his max in the coming 12 months. Danny Green, he's a free agent though. He was signed for 2 years.
Well, he's out.
Yeah, he's
So
done. I don't think his career's done. He'll be back. He showed that with the few games he had this series and how he was effective in the Toronto
yeah,
series.
but now he has to rehab a torn ACL. So you don't know. Like that
Yes,
might be tough.
and that's why it's
Yeah,
in question.
but
And
yeah,
it's like with Tobias's contract, you're still worried about too paying like his fucking full money. I didn't even mean
could
to curse
could
that time. I'm not
could
even
could
gonna
have
lie.
paid Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I literally didn't even mean to curse that time. But
No,
yeah,
you can.
that
It's not the podcast. Just yeah, you can curse. You just can't. You know.
yeah, with that, that's another example of like the drama after
Yeah,
games. Their press conference was like a full hour and a half, or like went on till like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and it's like between James, Joel's in his prime, between moving Tobias, between getting rid of the green money, between Maxey's development, and obviously him being a part of this Joel
yeah,
rise of an emperor that they're trying to build. It's just you guys got a lot to do on the phones this summer, I would say.
yeah. I think that. I mean, and I think the Heat aren't getting enough credit. You know,
They're
Jimmy
not.
Butler
They're not.
again has
Two
showed
out of
up.
three. And
Again, he has showed up.
I remember specifically saying to you on this pod, I was like, I got something I want to say about him. Like, he's not a superstar anymore, but like, dude, here he is again, playing
He
like it
shows
when
up
it
when it
matters
matters.
most, defending. Like, I don't care. And he's even making more threes in the postseason.
He he literally jab stepped, stared at Harden and shot it. That shot attempt was more than Harden took the entire fourth quarter. And Jimmy Butler he doesn't shoot threes. Like that's not his game. But he turns a switch in the playoffs.
Which I guess we'll talk a little more about the matchup. Boston won 2 out of 3. The one game we lost was the end of March. That was like
Miami.
Rob Williams. Yeah, that was Rob Williams' first game out last time we
Knicks
met
beat
on
him a couple times, I
ESPN.
think. Oh,
What'd you
Miami's got
say?
great. Knicks beat him a couple times. I know they came back on him. Like IQ had a big game. They lost Barrett's 46-point game. Did they beat him another time?
They lost them. They lost them. They lost to him on ESPN in Miami because I
That
watched
was
it.
Barrett's 46-point game. Oh wait,
Was
no, they might have been home for that. I don't
yeah.
remember.
I
They
watched
had a
the
lot of
one.
losses. I don't remember.
I watched the one on the road with Andrew, but yeah. So then we beat them in November in Miami when we had Schroeder in them, and
Hmm.
then beat them when they were hurt. Maybe January when the run first when we were still at 500, we beat them. It was a blowout, but I mean, yeah, you just look back to the bubble series, and I just want to compare the teams. It was just Tice was the only big, Kemba, Hunt, and him. The Jays were still kids. You could argue Tatum was in year three. Brown just became really an elite player. Marcus, the Gordon Hayward problem,
I just
kind
think
of
of I
messed up
think
the
of his
rhythm when he
leg.
came back in Game 6.
I just think of
He
his
was hurt
leg.
playing that. That was a problem. And then Kemba's knee, obviously, and Marcus. And off your bench, who did you have? Like that was why I was kind of confident going into last season's mess. Was like you at least got some talented rookies and like Pritchard and Neesmith. You didn't have Brad Wanamaker and Ennis Canner who couldn't even play, and his freedom. But yeah, now it's like you got the size with the two bigs. I wrote this in the story. You got Marcus. You got no Duncan Robinson that's going to catch heat. And we saw how great Strus was. I think he's a really impressive player. We actually, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. You're good.
Said the unstable again. We actually, I don't think I told you, I told you about the Dwight Powell with Rondo trade. We had Strus in 2019. He was at a training camp deal with us out DePaul. And yeah, so it's just going to be hard fought grit, uh, cockiness, a
Yeah.
lot of PJ Tucker on Tatum, a lot of Jimmy on Tatum, a lot of Bam on Tatum. Um, Miami's defense on the 3-pointer is top notch right now. They're just saying on ESPN. And we were shooting the three very well, obviously, in the Milwaukee series, but it's going to come down to the other end and who has more grit, who can win on the road.
Who do you think
I
wins the
saw
series?
C's and 6.
I'm gonna go a little bolder. Think it's a clean sweep.
I love
I
you
just
for
think
that, but
I think Miami's good, and I think Butler's gonna show up. But you guys ended on a really high note against the Celtics, against the Bucks, and the Bucks have performed in the playoffs. We know the Sixers aren't gonna perform, so we know that that's gonna happen. So I was expecting the Heat to win that. So I'm calling a sweep. I just think the Celtics got the best player in the series, if that matters. If you let Jimmy Butler go off, though, it could become a series.
yeah, and that's the biggest question on the internet that I'm seeing is like, are they going to let him beat him? Are they going to let the shooters beat him? But it's going to come down to just the grit everywhere, the
Yeah,
coaching. It's like, and that's the beauty of it from a fan's point of view is like, you know, Brad in the bubble, and now it's like a new coach, and Ime's got him all confident. And I mean, you heard us the first two series. We both did 7 games each time. So like, yeah, I love you for saying that, but
Oh, I'd say the Nets went four.
well,
We
the
said
project.
7, but they went 4.
Yeah, the projections. But I love you for that. But I'll go 6. I'll go one less than 7. I know I got a game that Sunday night if it went 7. So like I wouldn't be going to the game. Everyone that knows me and everyone that's hearing that is gonna laugh at that right now.
Yeah.
But um yeah. But hopefully 6
All right.
or 4, like you said.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, I think that's it for this week.
Wait.
I guess I'm
What do you
out.
think
All right.
what do you think about this Pat Beverley nonsense?
I appreciate you being honest. I do. Like I appreciate Draymond Green, but don't act like you are like better than him. Like don't act like that you're just like that like Chris Paul doesn't suck. Like I he doesn't suck. He's 37 years old and he had a better year this year than I think Pat Beverley has had combined. And that's coming from a kid that played 1 year in JV basketball. We won one game, and I didn't play that game. So, see, I'm not gonna trash Patrick Beverley for his talent because I obviously I can't sniff his talent, but who who's listening to me? I just think you could be honest, but be respectful. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because if someone said that about Patrick Beverley, he'd get pissed.
Like,
oh, I hope he listens to this for some reason.
I like how you went back to your playing days. I like that perspective. But
hey, I had a great jumper from the corner. That's about it.
as you know, I'm the worst defender of all time, so I'm not going to talk shit either. But it's like, and I like him. Like, I've always been a fan. I like the mentality. Yeah, it was a running joke that, like, you're going to, we are the champions when you just win the playing game, whatever. But it's like,
I didn't mind that. Well, saying we are the champions, I mind. But I didn't mind getting pumped.
We like the J.J. Redick perspective of that is what we like. But, like, it's just, I get everything. It's like, yeah.
I like what Matt Barnes said about it.
What did he say? I didn't see it.
He said, "Don't act like you're like don't disrespect Chris Paul's name." Because he goes, "Me, you, like you have to on TV. You have to be critical, but you have to be respectful." And I agree. Even I think Stephen A. is respectful. Like I think like Patrick Beverley, like saying a guy's a cone, saying, "Oh, I go out on like, oh, you never suit up." Like you can use that, but don't use it for every argument you have.
Yeah, and like I didn't put the video, but I just put the picture on my story this morning of him and Stephen A. on just on a big media tour this week, and
yeah,
they're talking about Harden and the Max, and like first of all, Stephen A. went in on Kyrie and how he's losing the Nike deal and saying like, oh, like you think all these executives and owners of teams and like of Nike, like you think they like that you're not doing your job. Love that. First of all,
I truly think he knows though. Like I don't think he's surprised by any of this. I don't think he likes basketball.
I mean, at this point, like you might be right. If we're being real, you really might be right. But like Stephen A. is
Rob's on the move.
Stephen A. has told nothing but the truth with this entire thing. Is like we question his dedication year after year, time after time, like these past couple years. But it's like I've been saying it. Stephen A. spoke nothing but the truth about him, and I believe when free agency comes around, whether he opts in or out, like we're gonna see the truth again. But yeah, with Pat Beverley, so I'm watching First Take yesterday with Redick's. It's Molly, Stephen A., Redick, him. Redick's coming in with the beautiful analysis, as you can imagine.
I didn't like his Luka take today, though.
Yeah, I mean, that happens. But he was just explaining, did the opening. He's like, two teams that are built around their wings, two-way game, toughness, their defense. Beverley just cuts him off, and I tweeted the video. You might have saw. He just cuts him off, and he's just like, Jason, two-way? And he's just like,
yes.
JJ just like, he's like, did you watch the Nets series? And like this, like, have you seen what's been going on in the playoffs? And yeah,
Pat Bev's not a two-way player.
Yeah. And you've heard me rant that like his defense was amazing the whole second half of the year, and it's always been underrated since day one. But and then he's talking about Jimmy and Tatum yesterday, and he's like, oh, Jimmy will just do the pump fakes over and over. And like
Tatum's gonna hit a step back three in your face. So
it's like
you don't have to bring a guy down by just be critically. It's called critical analysis.
Yeah, I was happy Dame said that to him and tweeted at him like, dude, I get it. You want to like. First of all, he's funny. Like I like when he was on Redick's pod, and in the beginning when he's got the wine, he's just like
That's a different setting though. That's a different setting.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like he was like, I'm about to start saying some shit, like when he was drinking the wine. But now it's like, bro, you got to be respectful, and like you can't just have the mentality that's like, oh, I'm gonna prove everyone wrong and tell everyone like that, like, oh, he really ain't that good and this and that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
live
like
in
you
my own
can't.
world.
I don't know. I'm happy you brought this conversation up because I lost my mind. Maybe because just Patrick Beverley's just not that good. But no, he's
Yeah,
a good defender. Like he's good at what he does, but don't act like he says he's like the best defender in the league. And yeah, you're supposed to think that. But then don't start throwing numbers at me. I don't care about your defensive rating. I don't.
yeah. First of all, real quick, like I used to be pissed when people would act like he was a better defender than Marcus Smart one back in the
Marcus Smart's a
day.
much better
And two,
basketball
like
player.
yeah, before Marcus got his respect, like back in the day. But like then he's like, I tweeted this as well. He's like talking, and I'm not one to defend the Lakers that much, but he was Reddick's talking about like AD and like them giving up the youth for him, and then like Pat Bev cuts him off, and he's just like, "Oh, bubble
Like
championship."
let him finish. Okay, I've heard bubble championship way too much lately, and I have thoughts. I don't think we ever got into this actually.
I think we did with Tyler Roshala because I used to say it to him like just to
Yeah,
mess
but
with.
I think but my take on
Not
this
true.
is this.
Yeah,
You can call it that. The Lakers weren't the only team that had the bubble.
and they were the best
Every
team.
every team in the playoffs had the bubble.
Yeah,
You think I get it, you had time off. You think it was easier for LeBron to just not see his family? You think it was easy for these guys to not get like this proper lifestyle that like we're all accustomed to? Like they said something the hoops were different, or like it was easier because there was no crowd to like shoot. I don't know, but
well, yeah,
everyone got dealt the same card.
yeah, and like that's why LeBron was like, "Oh, I won two of the hardest titles, being down 3-1 and the
I
bubble."
wouldn't say that.
Well,
I
that's
wouldn't.
why he did
Yeah.
say it, and like, yeah, Pat Bev was just talking about the fans and like how he's like, you think Milwaukee would have been going into Boston if there was no fans, like stuff like
You
that.
don't know. Like it's an
Exactly.
if.
You don't.
JJ already made the point. You can put an asterisk on every series at that point because, like, what if Klay Thompson doesn't? That was kind of towards the end anyway. What if KD doesn't tear his Achilles? What if Kawhi? What if Kawhi doesn't hit that shot against the Sixers? Like,
The
you can't
Lakers, like I
just.
said before, the Lakers were up 2-1 on the Suns last year, weren't they?
No, I don't think that was ever a series.
I think like
The Suns were up 2-0 on the Bucks.
I'm pretty sure they had a chance last year had they were healthy. Like I'm
Yeah,
pretty
but
sure I've heard this. I could be
that's the
wrong.
point, though. Like, not everyone's gonna have the perfect slate. Like, except for it's not even opening night. Like, guys get hurt in the preseason and stuff.
They were
I
the
just don't.
best team too. They were the
I
best
don't
team.
like the asterisk. I don't get it. The only asterisk you could probably put on the sport is probably baseball, but that's more the fact that they played 60 games. They played a third of a season, but even then, everyone played 60 games.
It's the truth, dude. Completely. Like, and they were the most dominant team all year. Like,
Oh,
best on
Dodgers,
paper.
Dodgers, just Dodgers are always good. It's so annoying,
They
but
are.
yeah. To basketball though, it's just with Beverly, he's trying too hard to be funny. I feel like. He's trying too hard to get that like,
They
oh,
just
Pat Beverly,
different.
he's the next Draymond Green. Draymond Green, Patrick Beverly knows what he's talking about, but Draymond Green is very good at balancing being critical and being respectful. He's very good at that.
That's why he's an amazing analyst.
Yeah. I love
Right?
that he said he was at his interview and he said, I'm gonna say a lot of this stuff in my podcast later. I'm like that's
Yeah.
just
I tweeted. I think you might have liked my tweet. I tweeted it. I was like, "Oh, this is what it's all about."
he's gonna be like an incredible announcer. I don't think he'd be a good play-by-play, or like I don't think he'd be good on the court. I think he's better like post-game, pre-game. Like he's gonna take Barkley's. He's probably gonna take
Yeah,
Barkley's job.
that's exactly what he's gonna do. And then maybe ESPN in the near future or something.
I'd stick with Turner,
Probably will because he turned down the ESPN offer. But like,
and I think you get more games.
you do. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
because
sure
ESPN gets the Wednesday and the Friday. ESPN gets it's probably even.
No,
But
ESPN is Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday.
but
But I
Turner's
think I would say it's more on the team. We could be wrong, completely wrong. But I'd say,
the one thing I will say, Turner is also March Madness.
yeah, and MLB postseason and NHL now.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think he's gonna be talking about hockey. But yeah. With that, I don't really care really what Patrick Beverley has to say. I truly don't. Like I said, I appreciate his honesty, but just you gotta know when to draw the line.
I think, yeah, like he even said in the opening on Sports Center, he's just like, oh, like I got a different perspective than
That's
everyone
cool.
else. Like, you sure you want to hear mine?
Alrighty. I think that's all we got for the week.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, this was a good episode. Got a lot of content. I think we went all over the place. We were talking about the Sixers, Devin Booker, Chris
We
Paul.
just caught up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but we got the previews in. That was the main goal of this episode. But you got any plugs for the episode?
Nothing. Just the Heat story, Heat Celtics playoff story that I just wrote. It might be out later. It might be out tomorrow, something like that. But yeah, I haven't just been really just through the roof over the seas, and I'm just looking forward to tonight. So hopefully everyone enjoys the games.
Me and you, walking graduation.
That we are.
How does it work? Is it like, do we go up there? Do we shake the hand, take a picture, or we just walk across the stage and then we give a little wave?
I think you just walk across the stage, honestly. I could be wrong.
I really hope we can go home. I don't want to stay there.
I think it's 2 hours, I saw.
Is it? That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if you're a hockey fan, let's go Rangers. I can care less about hockey, but I'm a Ranger fan from like April to June. Whenever they're in the playoffs, I'm a Ranger fan. Besides that, I can care less.
Yeah, my dad's hard.
I'm a bad Ranger fan. But yeah, I think that's all we got. My plugs. I just put up a TikTok, just like a little cool video with Jarvis Landry. That was pretty cool. That I'm gonna write an article on. I'm gonna rank the NFL divisions. The schedules came out, so I could do a little bit more like looking into it. Follow us Instagram, YouTube. I always almost say Snapchat, and that just wouldn't make any sense. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, wherever, social media, Pinterest. I'm kidding. Yeah. But I think that's all we got. You got anything else, Rob?
Nothing, man. It's good talking to you as always. We'll be keeping up the good work.
Alrighty. See you guys next time.
See you, pal. See you guys.